Coming up on Colonial Sports Center, we have Army Century Media's Dan Kitchen to talk some football with us.
We also head to the North Athletic Complex for some women's soccer.
I'm back. Yeah, right. You guys probably don't remember me. I'm Haley Sawyer. I anchored maybe a year ago or so, right alongside Ian Kist. Ian, it's a pleasure to be on the desk with you.
It's good you be on desk too.
Even though you're not John Fisher.
You want me to be like John?
There's only one, John Fisher. Nobody can ever be John Fisher.
Oh yeah, I'll be like Ian Kist, and we're gonna get right into it. The National Lacrosse League hosted their draft this past Tuesday in Toronto, Ontario, and some RMU alumni made the next step into the pros. Former Robert Morris men's lacrosse players Luke Magnin, Michael Seidel, and Jacob Rust were all drafted by an NLL team. The Toronto Rock selected Magnin, who made the NEC rookie team in 2012 with the Colonials with the 17th pick. The Georgia Swarm selected Seidel, who scored 2 goals as a Colonial in the 29th overall pick, and the Calgary Roughnecks selected Rust, who caused 8 turnovers as a Colonial with the 35th overall pick, the Roughnecks.
Yeah, you know, RMU lacks. I'd say that's one of the unsung hero teams of RMU. You know,
quite a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few professionals that have come out of that team. Crazy stuff. The football team hopped a plane this past weekend to take on their second nationally ranked opponent of the year in South Dakota State University. Here we go. The RMU defense trying to contain Zach Lujan, but he finds his way to the left with a short pass to Jake Weineke, who barely makes it into the end zone. Lujan again goes for it once again, goes for tight end Dallas Goder, but instead Kamani Smith spoils the party.
We'll hear his name quite often.
Yeah, what do you think of that? I'll bet they missed Kamani last year during that suspension.
Definitely.
Good to be back. Crazy guy. Freshman quarterback Matt Barr with a slightly longer pass than usual. Nick Lamica grabs it for a gain of 25 yards and goes out. Second quarter, Connor Shannon with a milestone, 46 yards. The ball is handed off to Isaac Wallace, who punches it in from just above the 10. Matt Barr fakes the handoff, goes coast to coast. Bet you never seen him move that fast before. Had no idea he was so mobile, but doesn't quite take it to the house as he's taken down. Barr again drops back and connects with Nick Lamica once again, this time for a touchdown, for a tutty, if you will.
I like that. Just throw it up and Nick Lamica will come down with it. He's tall.
Lamica can play any position.
He's tall.
He is everywhere. It helps to be tall. Lujan fakes the handoff, launches it to Weineke again, 40 yards. Quite the catch. 25 seconds left in the half, and a Jackrabbits field goal sets the score 20-10. Third quarter, after halftime, Tyler Brown, in the place of an injured Barr, throws it straight to Jimmy Forsyth. Not a good look for the Colonials. Lujan again almost goes down, but somehow weasels his way out for a pass that bounces off Cam Jones and into the hands of defensive back Andy Smigera. Now Lujan, he's pretty mobile. He's really getting his way out of that RMU defense. Lujan, a quick pass, Brandon Andrews. Now, that wasn't the best part, the celebration at the end. If we had a top 10, that would be in it.
Gotta be
Fourth
safe.
quarter, Lujan connects with Weineke again, jukes to the left to avoid Andy Smigera, bobs and weaves his way into the end zone. Jackrabbits win it. The Colonials could not ride the momentum of last week's win, falling 34-10. Kamani Smith led in tackles with 8, had 1 interception and 2 pass breakups. Connor Shannon kicked a field goal from nearly halfway across the field. RMU outdid SDSU in rushing yards, totaling 228 compared to the Jackrabbits' 125. RMU's efforts did not go unnoticed. Tell us about it, Ian.
For the 4th straight week, the football team was honored with NEC Weekly Awards. After his performance this past Saturday, kicker Connor Shannon was tabbed Special Team Player of the Week. Shannon connected on a 46-yard field goal, breaking his previous career long, and booted 2 kicks out of the end zone for touchbacks. The second NEC weekly honor went to Kamani Smith, we've heard his name quite a few times already in the show, for his defensive performance. Smith finished with 8 tackles and an interception.
The soccer team, the men's soccer team, was handed their 5th loss of the season last Friday. 2 early goals helped George Washington trip up the Colonials 4-1. Curran Edlin knocked in a Keen McIver corner kick for his first career goal in the 59th minute. Nico Brett did not have any goals but registered 2 shots on goal and received a red card at the end of the 85th minute. Keeper Brendan Alfery had 4 saves.
The men's soccer team tried to end their 3-game losing streak this past Sunday as they took on city rival Duquesne at the North Athletic Complex. How did they fare, you may ask? Let's go to the highlight. It will tell you. We're going to pick it up. Duquesne's going to get on the scoreboard here with a goal from Peace Drevich that was dished to him by teammate Colin Phillips as we take a second look at it. And Duquesne takes the early 1-0 lead. Goalie cam view.
Ooh, is that new?
It goes right past the backwards diving Brendan Alfery. Second half. Picking it up later, the Dukes bring the ball upfield, but George Poppis gets the pass, but he gets fouled and a PK is coming up. And Brendan Alfery says, no, 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 not today. As we get the goalie cam view, just gets his hands right out there and prevents Duquesne from going up 2-0. Freshman sensation Luke Pintillo receives a pass from Keen McLover, and Pintillo tucks it in to the corner of the net, and things are tied up at Uno.
I'll talk about take spaces there.
We're going to go to overtime now. Jay Cooper passes it to Pintillo, who sends it downfield, and Rafael Bruzal dives, and then we have the whole team diving on each other as he got the game-winning goal. It took double overtime, but the Colonials were able to end their losing streak with a 2-1 overtime win.
That's 3 different
Freshman
countries in
Lucas
this
Pintillo kept his spectacular play going strong, finishing with 1 goal and 1 assist. Sophomore Rafael Bruzal was the hero for RMU as his second overtime goal gave the Colonials their 5th win of the season. Goalkeeper Brendan Alfery received the win as he was solid throughout, stopping that penalty kick during regulation and only allowing 1 ball to find the back of the net.
Lucas Pintillo earned himself another nod from the NEC this week. For the 2nd time in his young career, Pintillo has been named Rookie of the Week. The Canadian sensation scored the goal that sent the Duquesne game into overtime and later had an assist on Rafael Bruzal's game-winning goal. He also leads the NEC in assists and ranks 4th in goals and points. Up next, we have women's hockey as we look at how they have fared this past weekend. And we also...
With Dan Kitchen.
Dan Kitchen.
In studio.
Kitch, as I like to
We're going back
call
into the kitchen.
All right, and we will have the primetime plays. Primetime plays. I guess I am a little bit rusty, you know?
That's kind of like primetime plays.
All right, take us
Maybe.
to break, Ian.
We'll be going to break. Stay tuned.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
The women's hockey team kicked off their 2015 season this past Friday playing Bemidji State on the road in Minnesota. The season opener didn't go the way the Colonials wanted as they dropped their first road contest of the season. Bemidji State had a 2-0 lead in the second period before RMU cut that deficit to 1 via a goal by junior Ricky Moeller. However, in the third period, Bemidji State scored an empty net goal to put away the Colonials. Goaltender Jessica Dodds faced 32 shots in the loss.
The Colonials got the revenge in the state of hockey the next evening, however. 4-4 is the official final score, but RMU scored 2-1 in an unofficial shootout with 2 goals from Amber Rennie and senior captain Ashley Vesey. 4 freshmen combined for 7 points against the number 9 Beavers. Rookie Rennie had 2 goals and would earn Rookie of the Week recognition as a result. That's a lot of R's.
That is a lot of R's.
Jessica Dodds and freshman Lauren Bailey split the net. Dodds had 17 saves and Bailey had 16.
The women's soccer team battled IPFW last Saturday in an attempt to recover from their 6-1 defeat in their last game, which was against Northern Arizona in the Mountain Classic. To the highlight. Colonials Mastodons.
Macedon, like the Power
RMU
Ranger.
scores first as you see Erin Ritzer battle her way past IPFW. That's a mouthful. Defenders. And send a shot past their goalie. Now we're going to end the 34th minute. Katrina Southerly sends a shot sailing over everyone's head and right past Serena Donmeyer to tie things at 1. Second half. A ball off the head of Rachel Good for IPFW. And Cassie Simpkins gets the rebound and sends it in. Now we're going to pick it up in the 59th minute on a corner kick. Michaela Kersey uses her head to get the ball past Kylie Dunning in net to tie the contest at 2. Serena Dormar comes up big here, makes a stop and prevents the opponent to take a lead. But under 10 minutes left, Rachel Good sends a ball firing, hits off the crossbar, and Andy Lazzini is at the right spot at the right time and sends it in for the IPFW win. Robert Morris didn't get the recovery when they wanted, but it was a close battle throughout, tied at 2 goals apiece. And Lazzini scored the game-winning goal to send the road team home happy. Lazzarini's teammate Rachel Good finished with 2 assists. RMU received goals from Erin Ritzer and Mela Koreshi, while Madison Kozlowski finished with 2 assists.
RMU tends to have some good luck against teams from Kentucky, as the basketball team demonstrated, and Northern Kentucky was no exception for the women's hockey team. Robert Morris, Cassie Redmond kicks in a throw-in between the legs of North's defenders, first point of the game. Second half, Aubrey Munch grabs a loose ball and ties it up, just not fast enough in the net. And here's a closer look at that, Ian. Thoughts? Tough break,
Close
right?
save.
Lauren Petrowski from the left post, and it's a little blurry here, but she narrowly makes it in. Kelsey Zwergel dumps it up and over right into the hands of the RMU
That seemed real easy for
goalkeeper.
a goal.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is catch it. Easy for us to say, though.
I guess, yeah, unless I've never played soccer.
Neither have I. Robert Morris narrowly missed a shutout with a 2-1 win. Cassie Raymond scored off a throw-in, and Lauren Petrowski scored the go-ahead goal. Erin Ritzer registered 3 shots, 2 of which were on goal. Keeper Chelsea DeJagger had 7 saves.
That's a lot of saves. The volleyball team traveled to St. Francis this past Saturday to kick off their kickoff conference play. The Colonials started NEC play the way they hoped to, with a 3-1 win. They won the first set 25-16, but dropped the second set 25-21. However, Robert Morris was able to win the third and fourth sets 25-17 and 25-11 to earn their first conference victory. Senior Kristen Thompson led the team in kills with 16, and junior Arden Fisher wasn't far behind, finishing with 15. Liz Campbell continued dominating in assists as she was credited with 31 total.
After splitting the first two sets, the volleyball team fell in 4 to the Penguins of Youngstown State. Freshman Taylor Lord had a good night, however. She earned her first career double-double with 10 kills and 19 digs. Arden Fisher also had a double-double of her own with 12 kills and 16 digs. And this marks Fisher's 31st career
That's a lot.
double-double. Put her on the court. What's the Ice Cube lyric? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, we're now going to send it over to...
We have Dan Kitchen in studio. Coming up next, we also have primetime plays and the packed schedule ahead for RMU Athletics. All that and more coming up next.
That's the second time you saved me going to break. You're better than I thought.
These boys are my heroes. They come every week to spend time with my children.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
They can teach them something no one else can.
Wisconsin.
They're role models to the children, and homework comes way before sports. Their grades have improved, and their lives are just a bit richer. What they do for my kids is truly wonderful.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
I call them my lifeline.
People don't realize how quickly you can end up on the street. One thing happens in your life, medical bills you can't pay, lose your job, and that's it.
At Robert Morris University, every student is expected to reach out to others.
We went to DC to work with the homeless. They sell a newspaper called Street Sets. Thought I'd help.
But if you want to give more, you can.
This person came up to me and said, "Get a job." And for 2 hours, I felt what it was like to be homeless.
Good morning. $1 help.
Some of the other students said, "How can we change this?" And I said, "Sometimes you can't change the world, but you may be able to change one person's world." My dream? Open a psych clinic for people on the street.
Change someone's life. It changes yours forever. Robert Morris University.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Haley Sawyer, not on the desk anymore, but rather with Dan Kitchen. Dan,
glad to be
thanks
here.
for joining us. What are we going to talk about?
I think we're going to talk about football. I thought I did pretty well the last 2 weeks talking about it, so I think I'll stick with what works.
I think you did okay. We saw the football highlight earlier in the show, but Robert Morris lost 24 points to South Dakota State, nationally ranked team. What did we see from that game?
What we saw is that the Colonials are able to hang with teams that are nationally ranked. We saw it when they played Youngstown State and they were able to take them to overtime. And we saw that here where while the second half might have gotten a little out of hand, the first half the Colonials were able to hang with the 6th best team in the entire FCS. So overall the Colonials showed that while the scoreboard may not look as good as they want it to, they are a lot better than their 1-3 record, and they can hang with teams no matter how they're ranked or what their record is.
Right, now that game was pretty good. We also had Youngstown State, nationally ranked opponent. They still hung in there with them. So what does it say playing against all of these big teams for conference play later down the road?
It shows that everyone else in the NEC needs to be really scared about the Robert Morris University Colonials. This isn't the team that only won one game last year. This is a team that could potentially go undefeated in the NEC. We haven't seen a lot of great action from NEC teams this year. Usual powerhouse Sacred Heart hasn't been looking the best. The Colonials have a great upset potential chance for the entire season, and they can look to start that this weekend.
Right. Now, Matt Barr went down with an injury. He's in a sling now. Not good. Who's
Not
the
at all.
best candidate to replace him?
I think the best candidate's going to have to be Reed McCoy because he's also a true freshman. He has that higher ceiling than possibly Luke Brumbaugh on the team, who, while Brumbaugh has experience, he also didn't look so good last season, whereas Reed has no experience whatsoever. He can come in, and we saw Barr do pretty well as a true freshman. The Colonials might try to go 2 for 2. But I would expect to see Reed and Luke Brumbaugh out on the field a little bit against Wagner on Saturday.
All right. What does this crop of freshman quarterbacks say about the team? Is this like a fresh young spark that could really keep them going?
It's one of many fresh young sparks for this team. They've got great play from redshirt freshman Kyle Buss. They've gotten great play from multiple running backs in the backfield. But the quarterback is definitely the most important position on the offense. He's the only person who's guaranteed to touch the ball every play except for the center. And for the Colonials to have multiple young players who are capable of stepping in and playing well, that's something that has to inspire hope for this team, because even if one of them goes down, there's another one ready to step right in, and the Colonials won't lose anything.
Right. Now, you mentioned Kyle Buss in the beginning of your answer. He's being a little bit quiet this year. He was, at least I expected him to come in and be this great receiver for the team, but he's being a little bit quiet. What do you think is going on with him?
I think he just had a case of the drops to start the season, because Kyle Buss has speed that no cornerback is able to hang with. And he's been able to show that every week. He showed that against South Dakota State. They weren't able to connect with him as much as they would have liked, but he already has one 100-yard game this season, and until a cornerback is able to hang with him, Kyle Buss is going to be an X factor. Now that he has a better grasp on the football, literally, he's going to be the top weapon for the Colonials, especially if Ramsey Owens isn't able to play.
Right, but one person who is catching the ball is Nick Lamica, who's tight end this year after being in pretty much any position you could ever think of.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, what's he doing for this team?
Nick Lamica is developing into the end zone threat that the team needs, because Kyle Buss is good to get large chunks of yards, but if he gets taken down, he's not the tallest guy. He's not going to be able to do everything for the Colonials in the end zone. Nick Lamica is a former linebacker, 6'4", 220 pounds. He already has 2 touchdowns of under 10 yards. He's just going to outmuscle anyone who covers him in the end zone, and the Colonials always have a go-to play where they can just lob it up to him and probably get good results most of the time.
Right. Now, RMU starts their NEC play against Wagner this weekend. What are we looking at with that game?
We're looking at the potential for a blowout for the Colonials here. Wagner is by far the least effective defensive team the Colonials have played all season. Granted, the Colonials have had a very tough schedule, but Wagner is not strong defensively, and even if they're able to succeed passing the ball, the Colonials are going to be able to do whatever they want on offense. They can try running the ball. They can try running the ball with Kyle Buss. They can trot multiple quarterbacks out there. Wagner is not going to be able to stop this offense, and the Colonials have a chance to win this game by 3 or more touchdowns if they try hard.
All right, now we've talked about offense over and over again. Tell us a little bit about the defense and why they're so great this year.
Our defense is half great, because our rush defense has stopped an All-American in Connor Casor from Dayton. They have stopped the best dual threat quarterback we'll face in Notre Dame of Ohio's Malik Grove. But the secondary has left a little bit to be desired. They haven't been able to contain every quarterback we've seen, as they were victimized a lot by Zach Lujan against South Dakota State. But the rush defense is good enough that the Colonials will be in any game they play. And once the secondary is able to get more things figured out besides Ryan Richards Jr., the Colonials are going to have probably the best defense in the NEC.
Okay, Kitchen's keys, give me one really quickly.
Really quickly, RMU has to try everything on offense, go with whatever works the most in the first quarter, and run with it for the last 3 quarters.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Dan. Make sure you check out Dan Kitchen's work on RMUCenturyMedia.com and on RMU Radio as well. And after the break, we will be right here with Primetime Plays.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
All right, most exciting
time of
part
the
of the
show.
show.
Let's go.
Prime time plays. Let's get into it. Number 5, men's soccer.
Nice slide.
Trip up the goalie,
Trip up
slide
the goalie.
in.
You're golden.
Like you slide
Dog
in those
pile.
DMs.
Number 4. South Dakota State, and that'd be picked off by
Lucian, it looks
Kamani
like.
Smith.
You know, I would rank that higher
We
than
said
number
his name
4.
quite a bit. We get the second look at it. Just jumps up and robs that ball right out of the air.
Really an agile guy for his size, you know. Number 3, more football. Catch by Nick Lamica, just barely knocked
Well, I
out of
mentioned he's
bounds.
tall.
He's pretty tall.
Number 2,
Pretty tall.
Connor Shannon shows off his leg and breaks his career-long
You
46-yard
know, I'll bet
field
it's
goal.
his gold cleats that do the trick. Men's soccer, once again. Women's soccer,
Women's
that was girls.
The upcoming schedule, it's like the Parkway on rush hour, jam-packed. Friday, October 2nd, we have men's soccer versus Howard. Dan, you're here again. Your prediction on this game?
Men's soccer versus Howard. Howard has yet to win a game this year, and the Colonials just won an overtime thriller against arch rival Duquesne. I've got RMU winning this one by 2 goals.
Women's hockey at Colgate at 7 p.m. What do we got?
These teams split their series last year, and they're incredibly even to start this season. I've got Colgate winning the first game 3-2.
Women's soccer at Wagner. The wrap up Friday's games.
Colonials are 3-2 in their last 5 games. Wagner is 0-3 and on a severe losing streak. Colonials 2-1.
I like it.
Next day, Saturday, October 3rd. Football against Wagner with a noon kickoff. Kitchen.
As I said, Wagner's defense is the softest the Colonials have faced all season, and Wagner can only succeed so much by just passing the ball. Colonials 24-17.
All right, volleyball, LIU Brooklyn, always a tight matchup. If we had Ian Kidd here, he could tell us everything about this, but instead we have you.
I'm Ian Kist.
Ian Kidd.
I know, it sounds similar.
LIU looks strong against NEC opponent Central Connecticut State, and RMU has cooled off a lot from their start of the season, but I've still got RMU winning this one 3-1. It's going to be a lot wider of a gap than it looks on paper.
Women's hockey, last one of the day on Saturday at Wagner, 4 o'clock.
Well, it's against Colgate. I gave the first game to Colgate, and these teams are so even, it's hard not to imagine them splitting the series, so I'm going to give the second game to the Colonials 3-1.
Sunday, October 4th, volleyball at St. Francis of Brooklyn at 1 p.m. How's Army going to fare, Dan?
On paper, this game looks like a complete blowout, so I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to
Could they
give
blow
RMU
out?
the NEC Brooklyn sweep 3-0.
Maybe they'll win beat both St. Francis teams.
You never know.
Wednesday, October 7th, a few days later, hump day. Volleyball at West Virginia, 6 o'clock.
Gave the Colonials 2 wins on the road this weekend. 3 road games in a week might be a little much for them. I'm going to give this one a close match, West Virginia 3-2.
RMUCentryMedia.com. News, sports, entertainment, tips for everyday living.
Everything.
Dan Kitchen, you want to
Everything
plug
you
your
need.
own work now?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
No.
Have a blog about football? No, I don't
You
need.
can always do a plug. All
Oh,
right, guys.
God.
How'd I do? First day back on the job.
I thought you did fine.
Give me a grade. A++.
I'm a hard grader. I'll give you a solid A-.
Oh, you're one of those.
You know.
Yes, I'm one of those.
You know, I appreciate that. Men's hockey is going to be on the next show. Crazy, we're talking about hockey season already. Right
Can't
around the corner, receiving votes category in the USCH poll. CHO poll.
Looking forward to the hockey season. It's been a while, but same time, same day, next Thursday. Stay tuned.